Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's your boy, the Big Canucker here, and got myself a brand new little knife here to talk about, and it's actually maybe brand new to me because trying to find a way to stay within a little bit of a budget instead of having the old credit card heat up and look at bringing some new content to the channel. I apologize. I've been away for a little bit. Haven't been away, just I've actually started to go back to school and get here in Canada it's called a GED, which is basically a grade 12 equivalent. It started out as a 16-week course, but I wrote a bunch of pre-tests and they knocked it down to, I think, 4 weeks. And so I got to hammer through a lot of this stuff so I could write my GED challenge at the end of June. So hopefully sometime in July I will find out if I am a high school graduate, because I left school really early in grade 8. That's what it was back in the day. And I say, if you are somebody who's younger, who's in school, and you're kind of reaching the end of your rope, stay in it. Because there's so many times that they looked for grade 12, applying for a job. And I didn't go to university, didn't get a college degree or anything like that. I did get some post-secondary education in the field of electronics. Took some upgrading there, but wasn't recognized by my school. I thought, you know what? I'm off work, just basically getting a fat ass waiting for my foot to heal. And I thought, what the hell with COVID-19 out there and the emphasis on learning by your computer, why not get my GED? And I decided to do that. And you know what? I'm learning some stuff and it's fun, and I want to be able to say to my 4-year-old granddaughter, hey, even your papa at 50 plus years old went back and got himself some education, because education is important. I know I went to the school of hard knocks, probably like a lot of you guys out there, but I think I'd rather have been sitting in $1 million mansion with my university degree than at 29 years old. Who knows? Maybe not. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is a fantastic little blade that I ended up purchasing pre-owned. It came from Quebec, and what a great little blade this is. It is designed by a fella by the name of, let me see if I can get this right, Jesper Voxnes. So CRKT Pilar. Now this is of course the original Pilar here with the sheep's foot. Now I knew that the new Pilar 2 or Pilar, however you want to call it, some people, potato, tomato, fuckhead, fuckheed, if you're Scottish, has got a little bit of more of a pointy tip. This is kind of like a sheep's foot, and this one here is the carbon fiber with the D2 blade. And I know you can get a carbon fiber in this version with an S35VN. But it originally came out with an 8CR13 MOV blade, and when everybody was absolutely raving about this knife when it first came out, and I think for good reason too. I think it's a heck of a lot of knife. It's a great designed knife, but with the 8CR13 MOV blade and the stainless steel liners or the frame on this, it was a portly knife with not great edge holding ability, and to me that's important. I know that there's some people out there who are not knife snobs or steel snobs. I happen to be one. I mean, and if you can afford 8CR13 MOV, put that in your pocket. It's certainly better than nothing. But if you can afford, or you have the wherewithal or the ability to go up into that D2, this tool steel I think is a great compromise between price and what you're going to get. I think it's a lot of blade for the money. Now, I ended up paying $35 for this. That it was pre-owned, like I said, very well looked after. A couple little scratches in the tips, and you can see the fellow who owned it here, he did some stropping. You can see that it's got a little bit of cloudiness there, but I mean, normally D2 is a tool steel, and it's not super stainless. It has some kind of stainless abilities, but you got to kind of look after it. And I think I'm going to probably clean this up here a little bit. And, I put a tiny bit more of an edge on there. I haven't put it on the old KME yet, but I think I'm debating whether or not I want to put like a KME mirror post edge on this, or if I want to put a convex edge on this, because I think this blade is kind of a little bit of a thick blade here, and I think it would react really well to being convexed. If you're not familiar with convexing a blade, go check out a fellow by the name of Virtual Voice out of Japan, and he is an absolute master of it. So let's go to the tabletop with this bugger, and we'll kind of go over the hits, the misses, and everything in between. Oh, geez, I like that. I think I'm going to keep on saying that. The hits and the misses and everything in between. See, that's my own little Shabazism. All right, let's go here. So, of course, you've got... Oh, look at that. I just poked myself. Damn, am I stupid. Okay, so you have got yourself a... And you can see here that I ended up oiling this up when it first came because it wasn't a little bit gritty, but it's not crazy smooth. It's... I don't think it's as smooth as I think something like this can be. But let's kind of go over it. It is kind of a smaller knife here. Overall length is 5.9 inches long with a blade length of 2.4 inches. Your blade thickness is 0.15 inches, and I don't know what that is in millimeters off the top of my head, but it looks like it's probably 3.5. It is kind of a little bit of a thicker blade. And, of course, it does have the sheep's foot style blade. Now, just to give you an idea of the size of this, here is a stainless steel Delica. And that seems to be a knife that a lot of people compare size against. A lot of people think this Delica is the perfect size for EDC. And, hey, you know, who am I to argue with them? I think that's a Hall of Fame knife, too, as well. And, of course, we've got the big bugger that I have been... which I got to clean up, which I have been EDCing. Actually, I just put it back in my pocket today. Is the 8015 here by Cold Steel, Andrew Demko designed. Love this knife. Love it, love it, love it. But, of course, you've seen that video already. But you can see how the Pilar is a great little, I think, secondary blade. And the reason I think it's nice sometimes to carry a secondary blade is... Here, I'm not going to say it here in Canada, but I know a lot of times in cities when somebody is carrying a knife, they can be thought of to be perhaps carrying, a weapon. And of course, it can be carrying, it can be a weapon. But for the most point, I do believe that people carry knives because they're tools. Now, if you're in an office environment or you're in, say, on a crowded bus and you need to cut into a package or something like that, if you pull this bugger out of your pocket and flick it open, and it's got, of course, a very distinctive sound, I think people are going to give you a look, maybe raise an eyebrow, maybe do something stupid like call the police on you for no reason whatsoever. But you take this out of your pocket and you open it up and you cut your little thing. And most times people are going to say, oh, isn't that cute? Oh, that looks pretty neat. What is that? Or they might even say nothing at all, knowing that you've just got a tiny little piece of steel in your pocket that you're going to cut a thread with or into a package. And I think... that is the reason I think a lot of people carry a secondary or a backup blade. And it wasn't... I used to wonder about that. Please forgive me about that little bit of a cough there. But I used to wonder about people carrying another knife or a second knife in their kind of their watch pocket or their jeans. And I think that is a good reason why. Because you don't always need to pull out a big honking, a piece of murdering steel to be able to cut into a package or a thread or something like that, or something like this will do. Now, all right, so the blade grind here is, they call it a flat grind, but it looks like it is kind of a high saber. You've got a flat spot there. A flat grind is going to be right from the cutting edge to the spine, completely flat, where this one's actually got a contour, so it is not a flat blade. The satin finish, and of course it's a plain edge. There is no jimping on this one, and I don't know if there is a Pilar or a Pilar available that is in jimping. Now the handle thickness here is, let's go here. So the handle length is 3.5 inches, so it is kind of small, but it is a little bit of a fatty here at just under half an inch, at 0.44 of an inch. Of course, this here is a carbon fiber. Now, I've seen some carbon fiber out there that is amazing looking. That's one of a little bit of a miss on this one. I think the carbon fiber is not as, I don't think is as deep as kind of, shiny as kind of carbon fiber is. Or some of it, some really good looking carbon fiber. Anyways, like the Spyderco Capara has got great looking carbon fiber. And this one here just seems to be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit dull. Could be a little bit shinier, and who knows, maybe I can polish this up a little bit and kind of bring that deepness into it. But hey, for $35, what can you expect? All right, let's keep on going. Now, of course, you've got a frame lock here, a Reeves integral lock, and it is stainless steel. And with this, in this iteration here, I do believe, it says 3 ounce weight, which I think is more than doable. Now, if you have this iteration here with the 8CR13 MOV and 2 stainless steel liners, you're looking at about 4.6 ounces, which I think is a little bit too porky for a knife this size. And sometimes when you hold on to something that's got some weight to it, you think, oh, it's got some quality to it. Well, I think you reach a point of diminishing returns, or for the size of it, it gets a little bit too heavy, and then it becomes clunky rather than well put together. And this here, with this carbon fiber and the 3 ounces, I think that it is at the rate where it feels like it's got some strength to it. It feels like it's got some, some quality to it, rather than being a little bit too portly. Now, of course, you've got kind of a thumb hole opening. It's kind of an oblong thumb hole opening. And I mean, I've tried to kind of spider flick this one, and my hands are too big, but I can thumb flick it kind of nicely. And it will open up really nice in the thumb, which is not bad. But I can't, get the spider flick on it. And I imagine if I were to sit there and play with it quite a bit, I'd eventually get the spider flick down pat. But I think another problem here with this is the fact that it's got a couple of nylon washers in it. Now, nylon in itself is not the end of the world. It's not super heavy duty, although Andrew Demko has got nylon washers in this knife, and even including his customs up to $1,500, and it seems to be smooth as hell. But this one just doesn't seem to be very smooth. Now, could that be that the pivot is over tightened? Possibly, but it is completely centered right now. So anytime you loosen it up, am I going to get a little bit better action at the sacrifice of having it off center? Who knows? I will probably try to adjust this a little bit better and just kind of maybe smooth it out a little bit. It just seems to be a little bit too tight. All right, so yeah, of course we've got the Reeves integral frame lock, which is nice, and a decent little clip too as well. And it seems to hold the pocket, really, really well. There's nothing I can say about this clip other than it's a clip, and it hides this a little bit here too as well. So perhaps they could have, put it along the side here a little bit, because this is a kind of a good looking feature here. I guess that's kind of maybe the only knock I've got on the clip there, perhaps a little bit of the positioning of it. Let's go here. And then the other thing that I have to say about this clip is I'm not a big fan of having this. It looks nice that it's recessed, but when you've got that looks unfinished to me. Now, I guess one thing you could do is perhaps put a couple of screws in there and a piece of G10 or a piece of carbon fiber. That might make it look a little bit more finished. Or, hey, I could just perhaps suck it up and realize that that's the way it is and look at it from that side and say, ooh, that's pretty. All right. But I'm not a big fan of that. It seems to be gathering some gunk in it, some schmutz, and it just seems to be an area that just looks unfinished to me. But hey, like I said, she's more of a budget knife and kind of a budget brand, but still, I would like to see that changed. All right, so let's go on with a little bit. Of course, this knife is, you've got the Voxnese Design Pilar with a little trademark in the TM. And then, of course, you've got a model number way down inside there. And then, of course, you've got the CRKT, which is not crazy obnoxious. Nowhere can I see on this knife where it says that it is made in China, but it is a Chinese-made knife. And I know the fit and finish seems to be okay. You can see that it's got a little bit of a... And you can feel with your thumb that it's not completely straight. Perhaps they could have been a little bit better with the machining there just to make that a little bit straighter, because I'm not sure exactly what factory this is made in, what CRKT makes their knives in, but you can see that you've got some Chinese knives, some knives that are coming out of China where that is not going to happen, where it's completely flat. The machining on it is done a little bit better. Sorry, apologize there. All right, so now you've also got a nice large choil here on the front that allows you to really grip this knife, and I'm going to say not quite, well, a 4-inch grip with a little bit of your pinky not having a full amount. And if you've got some fat fingers like me, watch out that you don't kind of hit that and get yourself cut, because there is that possibility. But it does have the ability to do some real kind of bear down and press into that if you had to do, say, score with your knife. But for the most part, extremely comfortable. Haven't noticed a lot of terrible hot spots on this. And I'm sure that you can cut with this using a 3 fingered grip, but it really is designed to me be more comfortable with your finger in that front choil. Now, does that limit the ability? I don't know. I mean, when you're cutting down like that, you can still get a hold of most of the belly, but it is comfortable in kind of a pinch grip too as well with your fingers here. So it is an extremely well designed, comfortable knife. It's got some decent looks to it. Now the new Pilar 2 with that more of a pointed tip, I think is a better looking knife. But all right, so just wanted to say hello to you guys out there, and say hello because it's been a little bit since I've been on here. And this CRKT Pilar, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to probably give it a 7. I think having this carbon fiber be a little shinier is kind of a knock on it, as well as the nylon washers not being that sharp. Those are a couple of hits on it too as well. All right, thanks for stopping by. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up as well as subscribe. I'd appreciate it so much. Now, please stay safe out there. We're not out of the woods yet. Keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.